We're back with a Hardball Roundtable in honor of Black History Month. As I said, we've asked each of our roundtable guests to tell us which African-American figure inspired them personally. Jason.
So there's always the famous people that we've heard of, but I really think that the history of this country and African-American history is about the people you haven't heard of, the small community activists. I want to talk about Ida Clark, who passed away in 2006 at 84 years old. She was twice widowed. She lived through the Newark riots in the 1960s. She lived through housing discrimination in the 70s and 80s, became an advocate for senior housing, affordable senior housing for people of all colors. She served as housing commissioner in Newark for 20 years. She fought twice against Cory Booker being elected mayor, but upon her passing, he actually sent a bouquet of flowers to her funeral, as well as letters and commendations from John Corzine, who was the governor at the time. It's that kind of person who builds our cities, who saves our communities.
Ida Clark.
Ida Clark.
Can you Google her?
Yes, you can.
Good.
And she was my grandmother.
I'm cooking.
Wow.
Annie, your thoughts?
Well, I sort of, in this moment in particular, I'm going to pick a leader who, as a young student, rode buses in the South to stand up to an entrenched force, and that's John Lewis. I recently read his autobiography, which I would highly recommend to your viewers. And he's really, he fought and fought and fought in a time when, he easily could have become discouraged, but kept on. And I think that's a lesson that's sort of important if you want to affect real change in the country. He was able to do it.
Howard?
Well, as a journalist, Chris, I'm going to look to W.E.B. Du Bois. Because even though he was trained as a sociologist, I regard him as one of America's great journalists of any color. I put him up there with Edward R. Murrow or John Hersey, you name it, because he took his skills and his approach into the city of Philadelphia originally, into the 7th Ward of Philadelphia, and described the lives of black people there and their community and their culture in an indelible and journalistic way. It bears reading today. And it was written 120 years ago, and is a touchstone journalistically, and also taught me that the most American story is the black story.
Well said. Thank you. That's why we're doing it. Thank you, Jason, and thank you, Annie, and thank you, Howard. We'll be right back.